Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we're going to pull back the curtain on something we all use literally every single day, but maybe don't really think about: digital storage. I mean, every photo you take, every app you download, every document you write, it all has to live somewhere. So let's find out exactly where that is.
So let's just start with this simple question. You click Save on a file, right? And poof, it just vanishes from your screen and it's saved. But where is saved? Where does that file really go? What is the actual physical place where your digital life calls home?
Okay, so at its most basic level, digital storage is just the hardware that holds on to all your stuff. Its job is really threefold. It has to store your data safely, it has to let you move it around, that's the porting part, and of course, it has to let you get that data back whenever you need it. So let's look at how different devices pull this off.
First up, we're going a little old school. We're diving deep inside the computer to look at the traditional workhorse of storage, the hard disk drive, or as you've probably heard it called, the HDD. For literally decades, this was the absolute backbone of computing.
You know, the easiest way to picture how an HDD works is to imagine a miniature, insanely fast record player. Seriously, it's this incredible little piece of mechanical engineering that physically writes ones and zeros onto a spinning disk.
So here's that mechanical action in a nutshell. You have these platters which are coated in a magnetic material, and they're spinning at incredible speeds. We're talking 5,400, even 7,200 times a minute. Then a tiny little arm with a read-write head on the tip just zips across the surface, finding or writing your data. That physical movement, by the way, that's the whirring or clicking sound you can sometimes hear coming from an older computer.
Okay, so if the HDD is our trusty old record player, what's the modern equivalent? Well, that would be its successor, the totally silent, blazing fast solid-state drive, or SSD.
An SSD completely throws out all of those mechanical parts. It's built on something called flash memory. Now, the best way to think about this is to imagine a gigantic grid with billions of microscopic light switches. Your data gets stored by flipping these switches on or off electronically. There are no spinning platters, no moving arms, nothing. It's all electronic, which is why it's called solid state. And that lack of moving parts is exactly why it's so fast.
So here's the main event: HDD versus SSD. What's the trade-off? Well, the HDD, with all its moving parts, is naturally going to be slower and a bit more fragile. I mean, if you drop a laptop with one of these, you might be in for a bad day. But its big advantage is cost. It is way cheaper for storing huge amounts of data. The SSD, on the other hand, is ridiculously fast and a lot more durable. But all that performance comes at a higher price for every gigabyte you buy.
All right, we've covered the storage that lives permanently inside your computer. So now, let's talk about the data you can actually carry around with you, the tech that lets us literally put our entire digital world right in our pocket.
And really, where else can we start but with the undisputed champion of portability, the USB flash drive? It's like the digital backpack, or maybe the Swiss Army knife that we all rely on. Moving a project from your home computer to a school computer, carrying a presentation, or just giving some photos to a friend, it is the simple, universal tool for getting data from point A to point B.
Memory cards are basically the specialized cousins of the USB drive. They use the exact same flash technology inside, they're just shaped and designed for very specific devices. So you've got your standard SD cards for cameras and some laptops, those teeny tiny micro SD cards for our phones and drones, and then you have these super high performance cards like CF Express for professional photographers who need to save huge photo files in an instant.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, haven't we? We've gone from spinning platters inside a desktop computer all the way down to these little cards that are smaller than your fingernail. So let's bring it all together and build a simple guide for choosing the right storage for the right job.
And here it is. This is really the key takeaway from our whole explainer today. Think of this as your digital storage cheat sheet. If you need to store a massive library of movies or games and you're on a budget, the HDD is absolutely your best bet. If you want your computer to boot up in seconds and just feel incredibly snappy, an SSD for your operating system is non-negotiable. For just moving files around, the humble USB drive is king, and for your specific gadgets, well, you gotta have the right memory card. It's all about matching the tech to the task at hand.
So we've seen storage evolve from these clunky mechanical devices to these silent, powerful electronic chips. But the amount of data we're all creating is just exploding. I mean, think about it. 4K video, artificial intelligence, virtual reality. It's growing exponentially. And that leaves us with one final, pretty fascinating question. What's the next revolution in storage going to look like? Are we going to be storing data in synthetic DNA?
or maybe in holographic crystals. Whatever it is, it's going to have to be pretty incredible to hold the data of tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.